Well, hello and good day to you, Internet. I'm Ricardo, the Cynical Critic. October is finally here, and you know what that means.
Winter is coming.
No, actually, we won't be seeing Elizabeth for a little while, because, Bruce couldn't blackmail her anymore.
Don't worry, Winter-chan. We will be together again. Soon.
But last time on RWBY, we did see some interesting events, and since I'm tired and I'm doing this for nothing, hashtag support my Patreon, let's get to the recap.
Previously, we saw Team RWBY being disqualified from the Vital Festival tournament due to what Yang did to Mercury, and Ironwood won't be moved on it, no matter how much the others plead on Yang's innocence. But one of them is hesitant on believing the Yang bee, as Bumbleblake had gone through something similar before. However, in the end, she admits that Yang is an atom, that she has never done something like this before, that she believes that she is a good person, and that couples have to trust each other for the relationship to grow.
Oh, for God's sakes, dude, just stop. I'm tired of it.
And Yang is tired too, but Crow doesn't give a shit as he confirms that everyone thinks that she did it. We also hear him tell Yang that, indeed, the lady who saved her from the ice cream lolly was her mommy of the year, passing a message on from Raven to watch out, because everyone only gets one. And Yang isn't the only one having troubles, as Pyrrha is still struggling to come to terms with what she signed up for. Yes, a relationship with John was probably a dumb idea, but it looks like RWBY has made the best of it by giving these two an unbelievably beautiful scene of friendship and love. However, even cotton candy isn't enough to help Pyrrha as, in her internal anguish, to tell John her feelings, she accidentally lashes out before running away crying.
Women.
And it doesn't look like things are going to get any better as the next fight is underway, with Cinder pitting the happy-go-lucky pen pal against the emotionally distraught Magneto, to which Mercury predicts the inevitable outcome to the confused RWBY very nicely.
Ooh, polarity versus metal. That could be bad.
Well, let's get back to the show and see if that asshole's right. Lakanon, roll the clip.
Skip. We return to the episode to see the battle between the waifus is underway. However, Pyrrha's mind is still preoccupied. RWBY too is also preoccupied with Mercury. She tries asking him why he is here, and when she doesn't get a response, she tries to get around him, but Mercury shows that he isn't going to let that happen.
I see why you call him an asshole now, because he refuses to let anything pass without a fight.
Well, the fight that we're all here for begins, and Merc uses the moment to engage in silence RWBY. Outside, Pyrrha is finding it hard to concentrate and control her semblance, though that might not be her fault. Merc continues his onslaught on RWBY, but she finds an opening and speeds herself out there, just as Pyrrha is finding herself in a little bit of a situation.
Into quarters! Oh no! She got destroyed! Oh no! She is dead! Except that she's a robot and her head was still intact, so we can assume 'tis but a scratch.
Anyways, yeah, Pyrrha's sudden burst of magnetism rips Penny to pieces, causing shock and horror from the crowd. And we all know who loves those emotions.
Well, Mercury just invoked my wrath. Again, you make my waifu cry. You deserve to die!
Upon seeing that their work is done, Merc leaves RWBY to her tears. Oobleck tells them to cut the feed, but it seems that someone else is in control.
This is not a tragedy.
This is what happens when you hand over your trust, your safety, your children, to men who claim to be our guardians, but are, in reality, nothing more than men.
Yep, the broadcaster is Cinder, who goes on to say that the school headmasters hold too much power, to the point where one went and played God, creating a killer robot disguised as the child.
I ask you, is Osmond teaching his students
First a dismemberment, now this?
Dismemberment? Merc just got his leg cut. Yeah, even if he supposedly had to get it amputated, it still wouldn't count as a dismemberment. Well, script errors aside, she's clearly trying to pit Ozpin, Ironwood, and their kingdoms against each other. She goes on saying that as someone who hails from Mistral, she knows corruption all too well, as we see just how great Trump's border security is.
So I ask you, when the first shots are...
Ah, an accurate representation of invading Mexicans.
Well, a level 9 Grim warning, whatever that's supposed to mean, then goes out and the people are asked to leave in a calm and orderly fashion. So, of fucking course, everyone panics and just loses their minds!
Ladies and gentlemen, please, there is no need for panic.
You have tempted the irony god. Now ye shall suffer.
Nevermore. How did he get past the kingdom's defenses?
It wasn't alone.
Oh, no shit, Sherlock!
Anyways, with Vale in danger, Ozpin orders Crow and Glinda to protect the people. Iron Dick tries to explain about Penny, but Ozpin doesn't care.
You brought your army to my kingdom, James. Use it.
This is Blue 4. Blues 2 and 3 fall into defensive position.
However, as the fleet moves into position to engage the Grim, one is currently having a little problem, or should I say a lolly problem. Oh god, it hurts.
It's about time.
Oh my god, Roman! Hi!
And though he's been locked up for weeks and probably smells terrible, and these vessels clearly need multiple people to run, Roman manages to pilot one, using it to bring down the other two. Through sheer dumb luck.
Oh, it is good to be back.
We then see some ships land on the platform containing White Fang members, along with...
Bring them to their knees.
Oh, for God's sake, Scared, will you deliver one good line? Look, a novice like me could do it.
Bring them to their knees.
God!
And of course, stereotypically, we ended on the Roaring Grim.
And that was episode 11, and Jesus, what happened to you, Ruby? Did somebody hurt you? Why are you so dark all of a sudden? This isn't what Monty wanted.
Well, actually...
It was a joke. Shut up and let me do the review.
I'm gonna start off by doing one thing that many other RWBY critics seem incapable of doing, mainly because they have their heads up their butts looking for an opinion, but that is to defend RWBY as a character.
For once, I can actually get behind you on something.
Is she an amazing lead? No. Is she a great protagonist? No. Is she, like, a really, really good character? Clearly, someone has not been watching my top and bottom 5 character videos. However, she is far from being a bad character, or even a bad protagonist. Disappointing from time to time due to the writer's ineptitude, but not bad. And it's times like this where she gets the most criticism. RWBY is such an inconsistent character. She can battle Grim and win a food fight with only her semblance, but the moment she loses her sight against a human, she's like, so weak. It's stupid. And yet, you're the idiots that religiously defend the wholesomeness and legitimacy of Dragon Ball, Kill la Kill, Hunter x Hunter, Fairy Tail, and pretty much all those whose formula to beating the bad guy is screaming real loud and their will to win. But I accept your challenge! So get your diaper ready, because I'm pretty sure after I'm done, you'll shit yourself with impotent rage.
Let's start with her extreme signs of power during the food fight.
Well, first of all, as my comment section was quite clear about, the fight was mostly done for comedy, as it's plain to see. Any overpowered representation of any of our characters was, for the most part, just done to amp up the ridiculousness of the scene. Other times were like when she got blasted by Roman,
Bow chicka wow wow.
and then when he and the White Fang double teamed her,
Bow chicka wow wow.
now with Mercury kicking the snot out of her.
Ah, crap. Domestic violence is always a boner killer.
In the first, she was taken by surprise. In the second, she was tired from Grim fighting as well as outnumbered. And here with Merc, she is just simply outmatched. We've seen the skill he has, and he's not afraid to hurt or kill her. Something that is not shared by RWBY. And not to bring sexism into this, but RWBY's not only a girl, but a young girl with very little hand-to-hand combat training against this older, cisgendered male. I mean, she uses a sniper half the time, camping little bitch. She ain't no Karate Kid. Speaking of the asshole, we still have no idea why Merc had to be there when he's supposed to be laying low. I originally suggested that Adam take his place, but upon hearing Garrett's little contribution to this episode, maybe it was best to keep his part to a minimum, considering what he had on hand.
Don't even think about it, FG.
Now, something that stopped being a minimum part to the story is the plot, as things are starting to unfold with Cinder's reveal to both her true intentions, along with Penny's insides. It finally is coming together why they need so much dust, why the White Fang joined them, and why the Grimm were planned to pour into the city through the train tunnel. It was all a means to raise the city of Vale to its foundations. As to why she wants to do this, we only have the slightest of clues. Firstly, as we've seen with Atlas, these kingdoms are bound by a thin thread of truce and trust. It would be so easy to have it break into pieces and then have the nations break into war. And she did explain that she hates the corruption of those supposedly leading them. And while I could get behind her on that, it does feel like there are deeper, more personal issues that she hasn't fully revealed yet. And let's talk about the reveal that somehow Cinder has acquired the help of the Grimm. At first, it would seem like a discontinuity, seeing that Grimm killed man indiscriminately. But the other thing that we know about the Grimm is that we don't know very much about them. We don't know where their loyalties lie, or even where they come from, which to be honest is very nice because it keeps them as a continuous, ambiguous threat to this world. But we've seen Cinder use them before, so for the time being, it is a shock to see them working with the White Fang, but not too much of a shock to our suspension of disbelief.
One thing, however, that shattered everyone's belief in a god that's good was this scene! Look at all your faces! You're like, oh no, not my Loki Penny!
Internet, I'm still available if you want me to kill this pendejo. Just give me a time and place, and let's do this shit.
Now, of course, the fact that she's a robot doesn't take away from the sadness nor the shock that was felt upon first viewing. But after I'm done talking about this, you're gonna feel even worse. Oh really, Witch? How can there be anything worse than death? Simple, the finality of it. Not going into whether or not there's an afterlife in this world, which is always a pickle in these stories, but death is final. Life is full of possibilities. Not all of them good. If it is correct in thinking that Penny did survive being a robot, then a whole new bundle of problems will be landing on her like a ton of bricks. Already we know that in some small way she struggles with the notion that she may not be real. How worse can that doubt be now that she survived death? Did she even survive? How does she know that she's not simply another model with the memories of a previous Penny? And if she is the original, was she alive to begin with? How can you truly be alive if you can't die? And if you do, your memories and personalities will simply be uploaded to a new body. How is any of that a life worth living?
All this is merely implied by what other stories have already done, and none of it directly confronted, making it possibly a great character-defining moment. That's if she survived.
Okay, going into spoiler territory, so fingers in the ears for 30 seconds. But it's rumored that the upcoming Volume 6 is going to be taking place in Atlas, the kingdom where Penny was made. Incidentally, it seems that we might have gotten our first look at Penny's father. So it would be doubly interesting to see Penny not only go through all those questions, but to also see the father-daughter dynamic that will likely grow between them. I believe I'm not the only one hoping that Rooster Teeth does take this route so we can get this amazing character development. And if they don't, then it will be a bigger missed opportunity than when Manglobe went under and no one decided to create a second season of Dead Man Wonderland.
Oh, Shiro. How I miss your skin-tight onesie. We had a lot of fun together.
And I can just hear some of you now. But Richard, wouldn't it cheapen Penny's death? It would if A, she had actually died, B, there wasn't some sort of condition that would make this unique to her, like, I don't know, being a robot, and Sigma is what I'll get to at the end of the volume. For now, I'll say that it only cheapens death if you do it too often and you don't use it as a character-defining moment. Looking at you, dragging my balls against the belt sander.
Now, one final phrase I'd like to end this review on is how it's very nice to see that the plot will be taking center stage in the story now.
Volume 1 was spent building up our characters as a team. Volume 2 introduced some plot, but it was still more or less about our characters and their relationships. Here at the end of Volume 3, however, it seems like Rooster Teeth is finally going to give us what we've been asking for, and so far, they haven't disappointed us. Except for the Inception episode. Seriously guys, what the fuck was that about? Killing off, or hopefully, destroying one of the more popular characters and thus emotionally and psychologically scarring both her friends and the audience is not only a perfect way to raise the stakes, but it also established to the viewer that there is no going back, and we will have no mercy on any of you.
Though on a whole, this episode kind of mirrors the volume so far. A few minor problems here or there, but generally it's pretty damn good. And I honestly can't say whether or not I'm looking forward to the next few episodes in good spirit, but I can say that I'm holding my breath in anticipation. So till next week, thank you all for watching. Please give a like and support my work on Patreon. Believe it or not, guys, just $1 a month actually does help me. I'm Ricardo, the Cynical Critic. Me, no movie sick or no video saved, but all deserve a chance. I'll catch you guys next time. Toodles!
Ruby, will I dream? Ruby? Ruby.
What have I done?